All right, so here we go with number two, this guy right here. So same kind of idea as with the first one, start with a simple shape. So what I'm going to do with this guy here is I'm going to start with this bottom rectangle, bottom box here. So this long right here is 5 inches by 2.5 inches. Okay, and then the depth of this here is just 1 inch. All right, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to create a new file, do document. I'm going to call this one ISO 2. So again, like I said, I'm going to the start with a sketch, and this time I'm actually going to sketch on the top here. Okay, and I'm just going to sketch on this one here, and then I'm going to click on top. All right, so like I said before, I'm going to start with the square. I'm going to do a corner rectangle. I'm going to create my rectangle, and again, the length of it is 5 inches. So if you type in 5 and then enter, and then 2.5 and then enter. Okay, so it's 5 by 2.5. And then I'm going to extrude this. And I'm going to extrude it 1 inch. All right, I'm going to go back to my front view here. So this is the first start of this guy right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these shapes here, the little thing standing up. All right, so I'm going to start with, all right, so I'm going to continue. I'm going to sketch on my right side this time because I'm going to add those two little pillar looking things at the top. So I'm going to create sketch, and I'm going to sketch on this face right here. Okay, and I'm going to look at the right side. All right, so I'm going to sketch from the side what this looks like right here. So just carefully follow along with what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a line. I'm going to start it at the top of the rectangle here. I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to click the line, and I'm going to make that measurement 2. All right, and then I'm going to go to the left here. All right, click to set it. I'm going to make that measurement 0.5. Okay, and then I'm hit escape to close out my line tool. So what I just did here is I made this line right here go all the way up 2 inches, and then this slot, this little spot right here is a 1/2 inch. So I just made this line from here to here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create that rounded part. It's kind of like a fillet, and I'm going to use the arc tool. So I'm going to click over here, and there's a couple of different arcs that you can do. There's 3-point arc, tangent arc, center point arc, and conic arc. I'm just going to do a 3-point arc. All right, 3-point arc is you want to click on your start point, your end point, and then you set your radius for this here. So I'm just going to click somewhere right now. All right, and it's going to ask for my radius. So if I'm looking back at it, okay, I kind of count it in here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to here, which is 2 inches. And that's what I'm going to consider as the radius. So the radius is 2, and that is the radius is half of a circle. So I'm going to type in 2 and hit enter. Okay. Okay, so now that I have this set as 2, so this is what this should look like. So I'm going to finish this sketch. I'm going to hit extrude. And again, I'm going to go at an angle here so I can see it better. I'm going to select this as my face. Now, if you notice, it's going in the opposite direction. All right, so this arrow right here says opposite direction. So you can click that and it goes on the other side. The depth of it is 1. That's how wide this should be. So I'm going to leave that set there. All right, so I got 1 here. Now I just need to do it on the other side. So there are 2 different ways that you can go about making the one on the other side. And one is you can create a sketch over there and do the same thing we did on this side, or you can do a mirror. Now, in order to do a mirror, you need to create a plane, which these right here are considered planes, but we're going to create one. Up here in this tool, next to the coil looking thing, is called plane. So I'm going to select that. Okay, and I'm going to change my type of plane to mid plane. So what I want to do is I want to put a plane right in the middle of this rectangle. So I clicked on mid plane. Now I need to select my entities. So that means I'm going to select the points that I want my plane to be in the middle of. So I'm going to click on this face right here. I'm going to move over. I'm going to click on this face right here. Now, if you notice, a plane 1 just popped in right here in the middle. Okay, so like if I look at my front view, I can see it's directly in the middle. That's what I want. So then I'm going to click the green check. So I made a plane now right here in the middle. The plane is just like an invisible wall. So now what I'm going to do to get this to the other side is I'm going to use the mirror tool. So right here is mirror. So I'm going to click on mirror. Now it wants me to select my entities to mirror. So I'm going to select this feature right here that we created. Now it's asking for a plane. So we're going to click on that plane that we just created. So it's having a couple issues. So my issue was I had it on new and I need to select add. So I'm going to click on the add part here. My entity to mirror is this guy here. I'm going to click on the mirror plane and then I'm going to select my plane 1 that I just made. And if you notice, it pops up over there on the other side. And then I'm going to hit my green check. So now I have that on both sides. So all that is left to do is the square right here in the middle, which is a 1 inch by 1 inch square directly in the middle. So I'm going to create a sketch on this face. Look at it from the top. I'm going to do a 2-point rectangle. And again, it is 1 by 1. And I want to dimension from this line to this line. That should be 0.5. And then from this side to this side, and that should be 1. All right, so now it should be right there in the middle, which in this case, it does not look like it. So I'm going to try to redimension that again and go back into my sketch. Dimension, I'll go from over here to here. I'm going to click on. There we go. So it's off just a little bit. There we go. So type in 1 and I'm going to delete this dimension. There we go. So I'm going to extrude that square right there. And again, I want to do a remove, and it goes to the part. Click check, and there it is. That is part number 2